up, guys? Chixer here with another look at some of the figures we got in this week. Well, actually, not figures. We're going to talk about the video games. And we're talking today about the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, I know there's already tons of videos out there on the graphics, on the video play, gameplay, all that stuff. So I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to go ahead and, just do some discussions on it. Show the system, the controller, what the games look like, all that good stuff. And just a discussion of exactly how I really feel about it. Now, this came out a couple of days ago. I actually did a crazy thing, and I did a camp out and at Best Buy. Waited a few hours in line to get it because in a sense, even though I don't know, I usually don't do console launches. I hadn't done a console launch in a very long time. I think this is probably my only one, because usually I just wait and get it later or whatever. But I don't know. I just really felt like I needed something for myself for all the hard work I've been doing the last few months. And I said, you know what? I really want one. Now, originally, I had this reserved at GameStop, and it was the Mario bundle. It was basically this with the digital code for Mario bundle. But there was a few reasons why I changed my mind on actually reserving it there and actually going somewhere else. Number one, I think the fact of the matter is that GameStop has horrible service at the one I went to. There was a situation with one of the action figures that I pre-ordered, and I went over there and they couldn't find it, or it wasn't on pre-order, and I looked on the shelf and it was right there on the shelf, and I was pretty pissed off about that. You know what I mean? I know people make mistakes and stuff like that, but it just seems like they're just so nonchalant, like they didn't really give a damn. And I think, to me, like, I probably still do GameStop online, but I don't think I'll ever go into a store. I just feel like also too, they're pushing of the, the sales of whatever. I mean, when I got the Nintendo, when I went to go pre-order the Switch 2, they just kept hassling you. Oh, you need to get this, you need to get that, you need to. And the girl was just so damn annoying. I just said, you know what, I don't even want to deal with her or her nonsense. So then, I took a chance and went to Best Buy, and yeah, it was insane. Some people think I'm kind of crazy for spending hours just waiting for a system, but I think it was fun, and I met some cool people in the line, and it was a cool thing. It was easy and in and out. So I went and got the bundle. I went and got the regular Switch with the Pro Controller, these two games, and also the little SD card thing, express thing that I need to have with it. This was pretty expensive. It wasn't cheap, but for me, like I said, I think I deserve it. I worked really hard, and is it worth it? Well, we'll talk in the end about it. So let's look at each thing individually. So I'll be right back. All right, so we're first going to look at the box on the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, the box is really small compared to the other Switches, which is kind of weird and funny. But as you can see, the system's on the front. It says Nintendo 2, Nintendo Switch right there, so people won't get confused. There's Joy-Cons and what you can do on here. A back of the thing where you dock it. I mean, it's basically just a basic box, so nothing really here to see. I do find that the packaging on this is really funny to me, because of the simple fact that, it's like right here on the front. Like they talked about the people stapling the Nintendo Switch 2 onto, like they said, a receipt went through the box and damaged consoles. Yeah, that would happen at GameStop. But anyway, so let's go ahead and look at the system and the dock. Closer look. All right, here's the box for the Pro Controller. I had to get the Pro Controller. I think the Pro Controller for me is probably one of the best controllers ever since they did it with the Nintendo Wii U. I think they did it with the Wii too, I believe. But I never had it. Did I have it on the Wii? Did it come out on the Wii? I don't remember. But I mean, they're always doing different things. Actually, if I really want to go back, the GameCube had the Wavebird, and that's kind of mainly the beginning of their Pro Controller stuff, because it was wireless and stuff like that, which I really love. I wonder if no, I don't think that's going to work on on the new system. But anyway, and I always loved the Switch Pro controller. I think for me, it's my always go-to. I have 3 for my regular Switch. Now I had to get this. As you can see, the box is basically simple. It's just the controller in the front, you know, and now there's buttons on the bottom of it, which I will get more detail and just everything that comes with it. It does come with, you know, cord, USB charging cable, you know, and that's basically it. Now for the price, this thing is $84.99, and they said because originally it was $79.99, but they threw $5 on for the tariff thing. But I don't know, that whole tariff thing, it just sounds like a bunch of bull. I was gonna get it anyway, and of course, you know, later down the line, I'm sure games are gonna come out with special edition versions of this. But you know, once I've taken it out of the box, it is great. So I'll get more into detail in just a second about that. All right, the 2 games I decided are actually the only ones that I really thought I was going to grab. Were, of course, Mario Kart World. And at a whim, I grabbed Street Fighter 6. I already have it on PlayStation 5, but not this version. And, you know, it was just at a whim. Like, I just saw it. At first, I picked it off. I said, I'll grab it. And I said, no, I'll just wait and order whatever through, for my place. I'll just upgrade my PlayStation 5 version. But I said, nah, you know what? Let's just at least get something else. Because there was nothing else that interests me. Of course, I wasn't going to get Legend of Zelda again. I already have them. I just get the upgrade pack and all that. So there was really nothing. In a sense, in the launch, this actually, in my opinion, was kind of disappointing about the games. But, you know, we'll talk about a little bit more in detail on my final thoughts on it. So let's go ahead and start with first Mario Kart World. Now, this is an $80 game, and a lot of people were pretty upset of the cost of this. And for me, I don't buy video games a whole lot, meaning I'm not one of those that buys every single game, like buy 2-3 games a month. I just buy a game once in a while, maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months or something like that. I do have a lot of Nintendo Switch games, but it did take a while for me to build that. So for me, I was not bothered with the price. I mean, not saying that I'm rich or anything, but still, I just felt like, yeah, you know, to me, it's not a big deal. I love the artwork on the box itself. It looks really nice. You got all the little, you know, characters and vehicles and all that cool stuff. And it's funny because, like, when I first played it, I was like, where's Donkey Kong? Because he's usually my go-to, but you have to unlock him. So I locked him the first run, which was cool. But, you know, of course, my first one was the cow. I used the cow first. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, like there was 2 reasons why I got this. Because I wanted the physical media. I feel like for me, like, I like the physical media. And also too, I just think also, you know, the console itself has 256 megabytes of memory plus addition to that little card. And I don't want to waste it all on just a game like this. So that's another reason why I didn't get the bundle. I just felt like, yeah, you know, $30 more, whatever. I'm still going to enjoy this. I usually end up keeping all my games. So, you know, as you can see, the covering is different versus the other one. Do I have another one? Oh, I do. I'll get that in a second when we look at Street Fighter to look at the differences. But, you know, you can see Mario Kart World here. Nintendo Switch 2, which is really cool. And then, of course, inside, you know, not really much to see. But, of course, the cartridges are red and little, just like the other ones. So they do match. And on the back, you just have some cool stuff on here. And there's some Spanish in here. Un mundo de carillas de esperia. So there's, you know, dual language and stuff like that. All right. All right, for Street Fighter 6, you know, like I said, like, I just grabbed this on a whim thinking, you know, I don't know, like, I just grabbed it. I just wasn't going to get it. And they said, you know what, screw it. It's funny because when I went up there to get the purchase, they had everything up there. They had the amiibos, they had this. And of course I do get some of the amiibos, but I nearly grabbed some, but I said, no, let me stop myself because of the fact that, you know, that's expensive. And these amiibos for Street Fighter are like $40. So if they would have had, they They had Kim, that I forgot the name of the little black guy with the long hair, and Alex. They had those three. If they had E Honda or one of the mains, I would have grabbed the amiibo, but no. Anyway, so like I said, like this was interesting because this says game key card on here, right? So let me hold on. I already downloaded the code, but I'm just gonna switch that around. But it says game key card, so I thought to myself, well, there was gonna be like a little card and it had a code and everything. But actually, when you open it, it does come with a game card. There's actually a game card, physical game card, you know, on there. Now, I'm not too sure exactly what's on here, but it does have a little key sign on there. So I'm not really sure if it does come with something, but you do have to insert this into the console to play it. So I'm sure there's more stuff on it. I did find it interesting that you get the code. You get the code for the you know, the DLC, which includes the first character pass, the second character pass, and then I think the backgrounds and the skins for some of the for all the characters. You get the extra skin, you know, the different colors that you can do with them, which I thought was very, very interesting. I think I'm gonna do this number so that way it looks a lot cool. So, you know, I thought that was interesting because I thought that the whole thing was just a whole download code and you get the thing, you get the system. So in a sense, I know some people are like, oh, well, you know, the good thing is you have physical media, you can sell this. But in a sense, if you sell this, you only sell the Street Fighter 6 game, not the additional things. So I thought that was interesting. So not saying I'm going to sell this, but yeah, I can say for honesty, this game is very impressive, especially when you have it handheld mode. It is missing a lot of details and things for the PlayStation 5 because the PlayStation 5 is a lot more powerful, which is interesting when it comes to talking about the Nintendo Switch 2. They're still a little bit behind, not all the way, which, you know, they can play a game like this, but, you know, it's very interesting because, you know, but the gameplay, everything looks great. Like, it looks gorgeous. It looks fun. It actually looks like the PlayStation 5 version, with the exception, of course, like for me, like you can tell the backgrounds are different. Dhalsim's background is a big difference. Like there's usually a bunch of elephants in there, just like the Street Fighter 2 arcade game where there was 6 elephants. In the Super Nintendo, you only had 4 and they wouldn't move on the Super Nintendo. The same thing is in effect with this version. There was, I think, a bunch of elephants missing and there's like 2 there. It still looks good, but you can tell that it's a downgrade, but it's not terrible, which is great. But yeah, there's 26 characters. I don't like World Tour. I don't like how you have to work to, you know, go through that thing. I guess I see what they're trying to do. But I really wish this one was unique, in which they took that off and they used it more for the graphics. You know, to make the graphics better, take that part off. And, you know, I kind of miss the days where you just play a game and you unlock things and you do different things, but those days are gone. But anyway, so yeah, these are the 2 games I got. So let's go ahead and look at the system and the dock and maybe just play a little video of it because, you know, I don't know how it works on the camera, but be right back. Real quick, I forgot. I'm going to do a comparison time to the other Nintendo Switch games if you wanted to see what they look like. So basically the same case, of course, is much different. You're going to have the red all over the front and the graphic is now on the side. So they kind of switched it. They put, you know, this red part right here is now all over the front, and they, you know, took the graphics on the top. You know, this is a really fun game. I really like this game. It's really cool. I'm getting used to it. I think, you know, it's one of those games that, you know, it's just unique. But anyway, as you can see here, you know, the insert, you can see there's more stuff like that, but of course the game cards are different. Of course, they got the black one here and you got the red one. But basically the same thing, which is really cool. I think that's really smart because, you know, of backwards compatibility. That's really cool. So far, most of my games have worked on backwards compatibility. I haven't had any issues. In terms of upscaling, I haven't really... The only thing I've seen so far is a Zelda, so I don't know. I'll keep looking at it. All right, so I'll be right back to look at the dock, and this is... All right, here is the dock for the Nintendo Switch 2. And basically, it's the same concept. You basically put your Switch inside, and it docks to the TV, which I think is a smart and phenomenal thing in my opinion. I mean, they were close with the Wii U, but when the Nintendo Switch came out, I was definitely into it, because the fact of the matter is that you can take it with you on the go and just put it in there and it comes up, and that's really, really neat. So I really, really like that. This is, of course, much bigger than the other one, and it has kind of like a, you know, oval, like a curve here on the top. So you can see that's where it goes, and then of course they changed the back of this, more sleek design, I guess. And you just pull this off to put your landline line, and then your HDMI, and then the AC adapter. Now inside this is a fan, so that's different from the other one, to keep it cool, you know, when you keep running it. So, you know, and this just basically goes like that. So now let's go and do a comparison time of the other one, the first one. And of course, you know, a lot smaller, much more square, obviously. So this is the original one. I had two. I do have the OLED version of the Switch, which is still, I love it. But I got an extra dock, so I can have one dock in the living room and one dock in the bedroom. So now the dock in the bedroom is just the Nintendo Switch, the first one. So this is my extra dock that I have to take it portable. But I don't think I don't know, we'll see. I'm still gonna use my Nintendo Switch, the first one, considering, you know, I'm so used to that. But yeah, as you can see in the back, and this is how it goes. You just pull this down, and then you have the thing here. Of course, it's different here. You had a USB here, and then the landline wasn't there. So that's another difference. And you have, oh yeah, I forgot. You have two USBs on this side. So you basically lost a USB, because this one didn't have a USB, from my understanding. Nope, it didn't. So you lose one, but that's okay. But one more can you put on there, you know what I mean? So let's look at now. As you can see, it's much bigger, of course, much wider, obviously, because you have a wider system. But let's go ahead and look at the two Pro controllers, or the Pro controller. All right, here is the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller, and I have to admit, this is nice. It feels great and it looks good. I love the coloring on it. As you can see, it has basically all the buttons that the original has. Of course, this is the new C button here for chat. Probably I'm not going to use that feature. The Joy-Cons are here, and it has a little the little gray here in the middle, so that's different. Then on the top, it's all grayed out, so it still has, you know, some function buttons here. It feels nice. It feels sturdy. And then you got these new two buttons here. So I'm not too sure which games are going to be using that. So now you have GL. So that's a lot of buttons, right? So we have the 4 right here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I know there's 10 buttons you can use. And also if you include that when you press it down. So it's really, really cool. Let me zoom out a little so we can get the other controller in to do a real comparison time. So here's the original Switch controller. It's kind of beat up, but you know, still the same weight, same size. Of course, this is a little heavier, but as you can see, the design is different. There's no C button here. Yeah, I kind of scratched this up a little bit, you know, but it's all good. It's a video game, you know, you're supposed to use it. But the thing about Nintendo, this stuff's lasts. So you can see the innards inside of this controller, which this one no, but You know, like I said, I mean, it's almost the same. And the good thing about it, this is what I think I'm really happy with, is you can use this controller on your Nintendo Switch too, which is great. Because in a sense, like, you know, the fact of the matter is that when you get a new system, you got to get new controllers, you got to get new this, you got that. And actually, in a sense, like, everything worked. Like, the AC adapter works on there, the HDMI cable works on there, and also the controllers, which is really cool. The only thing, of course, the Joy-Cons don't work. I mean, I'm not too sure if I can connect. I think I can play with them separately, but not, of course, I can't attach it to the system. So yeah, let's go ahead and look at the system itself. All right, here is the Nintendo Switch. Such a big system. You know, handling it, it's nice. I did notice that my hands were getting tired because I was playing online first. But look at the big old screen. The cool thing about it is I really like how the Joy-Cons are done. So basically, there's a button in the back right here, where you just kind of pull it out, and it's just, you know, neat like that, you know what I mean? And they just go in easily, instead of the other one where you had to slide it in. Same thing with this side, there's just a little button in the back, and you just pop it up, release, and that's it. I mean, it's so simple, you know, compared to the other one where you had to, like, put it in there. And you know, one time I put one backwards, I put it upside down, and I was so freaking out because I couldn't take it out. But yeah, you know, let's turn them on. I don't know if it's gonna come out. Yeah, so you get the good big screen on that. So the menus just look the same, you know. And I was playing the GameCube Zelda, which is really fun. So let's go ahead and look at Tears of the Kingdom real quick. You know. So yeah, suppose the loading times are much better. And stupid me, this is what I did. I didn't even realize I bought the what do you call it? I bought the 2 expansion packs, thinking, because I think Best Buy had a coupon for $10, so I sort of bought them off there. And stupid me, I didn't know that on the membership, you get them for free. So yeah, as you can see, here's Zelda. It's really nice, you know, but you can't really tell too much on here. So, but yeah, I mean, this is fun. But like I said, now here's a problem with this. The battery life. Now this is bad because of the fact that the battery life does not last within, I think it's about 2 hours or so. Maybe 2.5, maybe 3. I was playing with it. I had it here, I had it on. I mean, basically what I was doing was transferring the data over and all that stuff, and I had it on, and I noticed that I had to plug in the thing. So you know, this cannot be like, if you take it on the go, don't expect you to have it for 5-6 hours. It's not gonna, you know, have a backup plan where you have, you know, like a power bank or something with you just in case, because unfortunately this battery does go, and of course it's the size of the system, the, you know, everything, which is kind of funny because the OLED, when I was waiting in line, I'm gonna tell you, okay, I'm gonna be honest, I was waiting there about 5 hours. That's how long I waited. I went at 6 o'clock and the store opened at 11, so I went at 6 o'clock. Anyway, I had my other version, my OLED version, and that thing only, and I was playing for a good 2 or 3 hours in line. You know, I was watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. But yeah, it was 20%, you know, it only took 20% of the battery. So I was like, huh. So that's a big bummer. So let's go. Speaking of the OLED, let's bring it out real quick you can see the differences. Of course, on the size and all that. So let's move this up a little bit. Adjust the. So yeah, I mean, of course, the size is different. You know. So yeah, I mean, you know, I feel like the OLED does look a little bit cleaner, but still, you know, if you still have your OLED, this is definitely something to keep. If you didn't get the OLED, this was basically more of a better, of course, upgrade. But all right, so let's go ahead and get my final thoughts on the system itself and whether it's worth it or not. All right, here are my final thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2, and should you buy it or should you leave it? I mean, it's basically up to you. I mean, in a sense, for me, I am a Nintendo fan. I love Nintendo. I've grown up with Nintendo. I've had, all the first system, the Nintendo Entertainment Center, the NES, back in the day. And I've always been a fan. I never hated on any other systems. In fact, I have a PlayStation 5. So I've always been, that person that buys two systems. I have, it's always been like that. I think I had the Nintendo 64 and I had the PlayStation, and I feel like this whole mentality of people, oh, well, you need to buy this because it's better than this or better than that. It's just kind of ridiculous in a sense. You are going to buy something regardless, and I'm having a lot of fun with this, and that's all that matters in a sense. So people, oh, it's so expensive and it's so this, and I mean, everything's expensive nowadays. And the PlayStation 5 was $500, and it can't, it did come with the game inside, but still, you had to buy a game with it. And then, of course, the memory on it's not enough. You had to upgrade it. So regardless if you buy a PlayStation 5, Xbox, whatever, it's going to be the same thing of paying money. And in terms of, the whole situation with, well, this system is basically, a PlayStation 4, not a PlayStation 5 in terms of power and stuff like that. I don't really care, because for me, this is the first time we get to see Mario and Nintendo games in 4K. And that to me is a lot. And there's just so much more to it than just that. The backward capability alone is so cool, because you can play all your games on here that you've had before, Plus, on top of that, you have the console, the old games that are on the virtual. I guess it's not virtual console anymore. Whatever it's called, the virtual thing. Where you go in and play all older games also, which is really fun. And on the top of that, it's handheld. That's the good thing. You can take it with you. You don't have to be at home. And of course, you got the PS. What's it called? The Now thing. Yeah, you can buy that too if you want. It's all good. It depends on what you feel. Now, some of the negative things I can say about it. Number one, the whole thing, definitely the battery life on this does suck. I have to admit, that is a disappointment. Because, I guess since I'm used to my first Switch, I feel like I was playing with it mostly all day long, and then I had to charge it. So that is a bummer. But it is a bigger system. It runs more, so obviously battery life is going to be something. So just make sure, take your power bank with you, take your control cord with you, and charge it up whenever you get a chance. Another thing, it does feel a little bulky when you do have it on handheld mode, because it's bigger. So like I said, I got tired after a while holding it so much. So definitely, I think with this, what I'm going to do is, this is probably going to stay at home, and my OLED is going to be coming with me. But other than that, should you buy it? Like I said, it's really up to how you feel. If you really want it, it is worth it in terms of new system and the way it looks and how fun it is. The fun factor's there. There's a lot of new added features, which I'm not using. I'm not using the chat. I'm not using the camera. I'm not doing any of that extra silly stuff, for me. But, to me, that's more of a gimmick, but mainly more for playing the games. Mario Kart is so much fun. It looks gorgeous. And of course, there's more to it. There's more games coming. In a sense, should you buy this now? Unless you're a hardcore fan. In terms of regular casual gamers or mom and dad, should I buy this system now for my kid? You can wait until more titles come out, because of course, not all the titles that are on right now will go for kids, but like I said, this is an investment. Right now, as I'm speaking of the video, I believe it's been sold out most places now. I think, on the day of, though, which I kind of find it funny, I waited 5 hours in line to get mine at Best Buy at night, and the next day Target had some at their places, but it's okay. I'm not tripping. I'm not mad at it. I wanted it. I did it. It's what I want. So I don't really give a damn what anybody says. You know, for me, it's, you know, I enjoy it. I worked hard for it and I want it. So, you know, bottom line, this is a very cool system. It's very pricey right now. And I have to admit, when I got the first Nintendo Switch, it was pricey. I got the system, the controller, 2 games, all this. And I was like, damn. You know, it's no longer, you know, we're out of the area where you're going to get a $200 video game system. I mean, let's think about it. You know, car prices. I mean, I'm used to, you know, getting I love my Toyota Tundra, and I spent, you know, 50,000. The new ones cost 70,000. It's just how it is. So, you know, I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, like this was a really fun video. I'm glad I was able to do something different. You know, but like I said, you know, the pluses on this, it's, you know, it's Nintendo. You gotta have a lot of fun with it. I love the Pro Controller. It's really cool. The games, like I said, I'm just playing Mario Kart and Street Fighter for right now. Of course, I'm gonna be playing a lot of Legend of Zelda, since it's, you know, since I already had it and I got the expansion pack, you know. But, you know, more games are coming. So I was very impressed with Street Fighter 6. I'm going to have to admit, like I said, I was hesitant, and I'm actually glad I got it because it looks really cool. It looks really fun. It looks really nice, you know. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, feel free to share, like, and subscribe, and we'll get more videos to you. Until next time. See you later. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.